There we go. All right, you guys. So welcome to our Tuesday call. I am super, super excited. And as I was mentioning before we started the recording, we have a really amazing, amazing speaker on the phone. I know that for a lot of you guys who have met her exactly actually a year ago, she literally put some fire under a lot of our butts and completely changed a lot of you guys who were there attitudes and visions about the business. So I'm super excited to have her on the phone. But before we do that, I want to welcome everybody who's new. I think we all kind of know each other, but in case you don't, my name is Carla. And we have these calls every Tuesday, really are designed to, train, to give you some training from home. And then from time to time, we'll have a treat and bring a guest speaker on the line like we're having today. But please stay after the call for those of you guys who are coaches, because we have some details to cover afterwards. But I don't want to take too much of introduction. I don't want to take any more time. I want to introduce this guest speaker. I actually met her, I don't even know how many years ago. And here's one of the things I want to invite you guys to do. Everywhere you go, try to make a relationship of some sort, especially in the Herbalife world. The kind of people that are around this business, this opportunity is like second to none. And I'm not just saying that because we're on here, but because really the kind of person that comes to this type of opportunity is somebody who is one to make an impact, one who wants to help and contribute to others. So when I met her, I actually met her parents first, and her dad was like, "Oh my God, you remind me so much of my daughter. You have to talk to her about this business. I want her to do this business." And I was like, "You want her to do this business?" And he's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Then leave her alone." And he's like, "What?" And the reason why I said that was because if she's as smart as he said she was, then I knew she would eventually see it, right? It doesn't. You can't be around this opportunity. If you've got vision, you can't be around this opportunity and not be like drawn to it. Like, oh my God, what is this? And how can I get involved? So long story short, I ended up meeting her at an extravaganza. Like then we're going to go in Houston. And, I remember I put her on my phone as Carmen Disney because she used to work for Disney. And I'll let her tell you her story. But who would have ever thought that we become such great friends and now like a sister to me. So I'm super excited because just like us, her team has got a lot of momentum right now. So I'm super excited for that. So when somebody's got momentum, like the fire is it's within that person. So grab a piece of paper and a pencil. I know some of you guys are like walking around. I invite you. I say this with love. Okay, you got to treat your business the way you want it to respond. So if you want to be a hobby type of business, and that's cool, I totally will be respectful of that. But if you really want to take it in, I really invite you to sit down, put your phone somewhere, sit down, take a piece of paper and a pencil, and dedicate these next minutes to your business, because it could be one phrase that can completely change your life. And I'm telling you, because one event that I went to, one phrase completely changed the direction of my business. So that's because I was intentionally paying attention, okay? And also let's give her the respect that she deserves. She's taking time away from her business to be able to be with us. So I'll go ahead and unmute her without further ado. Actually, I'll unmute all of us so you guys can all give her a little shout welcome. So please help me welcome on her cuts to 7,500 royalties, on her way to President's Team, International Millionaire Team member, Carmen Mireles. Woo! Let's hear it up. There you go, Mona. What are you doing?
I'm doing my nephew's project.
All right, awesome. All right, so without further ado, let me mute everybody.
Nathan, stop it.
Go ahead and unmute you. Or why don't you, there we go, unmute you. There we go. All right, thank you, Carmen. You're on.
Hi guys, welcome. I'm super excited and super grateful. Thank you for letting me join on this call. I mean, I'm really excited to see a lot of you. I see a lot of new faces, which is amazing. I can't believe it's been a year, Carla. That's just crazy. Like, time is flying. And like Carla mentioned, I'll share with you guys a little bit about my story, because I think it's important that you guys know who I am and why I got involved in this business. So like Carla mentioned, before Herbalife, I was a typical, Latina where, I don't know if you guys have parents, right? But typical immigrant parents, they want your daughters to go to school, get a degree, don't get pregnant. Have you guys heard that? And to them, it was like, if you have a degree and if you go to college and if you have a good job, you're set. And that was exactly what I did. I think that there's angels around you, respecting everyone's belief, but, they help guide you if you open yourself up to those opportunities. And I had a teacher who told me, you know what, Carmen, you're smart, you're talented. What are you going to do after high school? And I said, I don't know, get married. Luckily I didn't have a boyfriend at the time. And she said, no, you're too smart to just be a wife. She goes, I'm going to have you go to college. So she helped me with my applications, and there I went to college, And I remember during that time, my mom came home with her Herbalife, and I had no idea what she was doing. To me, my mom had always been a stay-at-home mom. She had always made us burritos to go to school. So I was like, oh, cool, something for my mom to just entertain herself. And that was it. My dad was the provider. My dad, worked construction, so he did well. We always had, food on the table. We had clothes. We had everything, anything a normal family needs. And so, my mom never left. My mom was always around. So here I go off to college, 4 years at the university. And then I get this amazing opportunity to go to Washington, D.C., where I get the opportunity to work with the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in D.C. And I went on this internship, right after, my last year of college. So I moved away. And I remember I was not going to take it because, while I went to college, I stayed home because I see we have a lot of Latinos in the call, right? So if you guys know Latinos, our parents love us so, so much that they also don't want to let us go, right? And I remember that, for me, it was like, it was okay for me to go to college as long as I didn't move out. And I remember that, that time I got accepted to this program. So there was only 2 people in the whole university that got accepted. And I was like, no, I'm not going to go. There's no way. My dad's never going to let me go. And I say this because, look, you're going to get challenged in situations that are really good, but are scary. I'll give you an example. Extravaganza is coming. Maybe some of you guys have never traveled. Maybe some of you guys haven't left your family. And it's scary. I get it, And luckily, I listened and I paid attention to the right people. And, at this time, my friend tells me, Carmen, there's only a few people selected for this program. You have to go. So with all the fears, all the scare I had with my dad, because my dad's super strict, mexicano con el bigote, like totally strict. I sat him down and I told him that I wanted to go to DC. And, luckily during that time, my mom had just started her Herbalife journey. I didn't know what the hell Herbalife was, but I didn't realize how much it works on your personal growth. So I remember my mom telling my dad, cállate, déjala ir, she's going to be fine. And so my dad had, even though he hated the idea of me moving 6-hour flight away across the country, he let me go. And I'll tell you that it was one of the scariest, but yet one of the best decisions I made, because I became very independent. I learned how to, move myself around. I learned how to grow and develop. And I say that because many of you are going to be challenged, especially these next couple of weeks, as far as going into something new, going into opportunities. It's scary. It's fearful. But I learned this, from Carla. It's like you have 2 things to ask yourself. What's the worst that can happen and what's the best that can happen? And every time I ask myself when I get confronted with a scary situation, I say, well, it might not be that bad. And so I went ahead, I went to college, I went to DC, and it was an amazing experience. I graduated from college after that. So, I was the first in my family. So just to give you guys some perspective, okay, my parents have 13 brothers and sisters, my dad, and my mom has 13 brothers and sisters. So I have over 26 aunts and uncles, of which I have over 100 first cousins. So just given the fact that I was the first one in my family to get a degree, it was a pretty big deal because no one ever had done that. And I say that not to be conceited, but to tell you that when you want to do something different, it's hard, especially if you haven't had someone to guide you or show you the path, right? So I had to figure it out. I had to ask questions. I had to, study extra hard. I had to, talk to my professors. I remember walking into the campus the first day being so scared of looking at this huge campus, But I got through it. I conquered it. And right after college, I started looking for jobs. And so, like Carla mentioned, I worked for Disney. And so because I was in DC, I missed my family. I stayed out there for a couple of years. I stayed there for 2 more years working with the chamber. And then I came back and I worked for Disney for 9 years. So in that process or in that journey, keep in mind, okay? And talk about how time flies, and I want to ask you, how many of you guys have realized that time is a blink, right? And I remember that 4 years of college, 2 years in DC, 9 years in Disney. How much, somebody know the math? Put it in the chat. What is that? 4 years in college, 2 years in DC, and 9 years in Disney. 13 years, okay? 13 years. That was how long it took me. Guess what? I mean, I was a mover. I remember in Disney, I would move around, jump around, ask a bunch of questions, and I was moving up the corporate ladder. And I remember that in my last position, I was leading the diversity team, which we were responsible to adding corporate diversity into our recruiting and into our training programs. And I remember talking to, one of the VPs, and I was like, he's like, yeah, Disney is super diverse, blah, blah, blah. And as I pulled out the numbers, because, at the time I had the access to confidential information, I saw that, yes, we had diversity, but the majority of the diversity that we had were labor jobs. So, for example, especially being a Latina, right? If I looked for Latinas, 80% of them were doing the hotel work, the maintenance work, the custodial work. Maybe 1 or 2% were doing the high-paying corporate jobs. And I thought, is that what I want? And I remember, my last year there in 2008, I don't know if you guys remember, if you're old enough, I know some of you guys are super young, but the economy crashed. And I get a call from my boss telling me, hey, Carmen, I need you to lay off people in your team. It was one of the most hardest things I had to do, to get people and say, I'm sorry, but we no longer need you, and walk them to the door. And, for many of you, I don't know, for those of you who are on the call, if you have a job, many people stay in a job because of the benefits, right? But I'll tell you, most people are living paycheck to paycheck. And I remember walking this lady to the door, she's crying, and she's 60 years old, and she's telling me, Carmen, who's going to hire me at 60? I need my benefits. I have kids in college. I have a house payment. I have car payments. I can't afford to not work. Who's going to hire me now? I had nothing to answer her. I had no idea what I would, what she would do. Come to find out that she ends up getting diagnosed with cancer. And of course, she had no more benefits. So a couple months later, she passes away. And I say that because for me, that was like a reality check of life. And sometimes we are in this zombie mode, like my life is great, nothing's happening. And sometimes we need to have those transitional moments that shake you up to figure out something's not right, And as I started to look at, my SVPs or the people up higher than me, I started to look at the life that they had. They were working crazy hours. At the time I wasn't married. And I thought, is that the life I'm going to have? Most of them were getting divorced. Most of them had nannies taking care of their kids. And I thought, they made quote unquote good money, but it wasn't in price of their time. And I thought, is that what I want? And I said, and, they have me here now. What's going to happen when I turn 50 or 60 like that lady? So, of course, the workload keeps, happening. And because I'm like the fast, sharp Latina, guess what? I get the work piled on, right? I still have to do the work. So I leave my home super early. I come home 8, 9 o'clock at night, super stressed out, bad mood. I'm going to be really blunt. I was a total bitch in my house. And it wasn't because I wanted to. I was just frustrated. I had so much work. I remember sitting in traffic, Friday night, I would be in traffic for 3 hours. Now I calculate how much freaking time of my life I spent sitting in traffic. And I think, oh my God, like my whole life was spent there. What a waste of time, right? But I didn't know any better. I mean, at the time, that's what you did. So I remember, at that point, I'm super stressed out. I'm grumpy as hell. I'm just in a terrible mood. And my mom tells me, like, what's wrong? Like, you look really upset. And I thought, Mom, you're not going to understand me. You don't get it. You don't work. You don't have a degree. I was a total snob, kind of like some of you guys have there too. And so she's like, Mija, let's take a vacation. You need a break. So if you guys are on this call, and let me see, I want to see you guys. How many of you guys have Latino parents? I have Mexican parents who every year we would go back to the same rancho, the same house with no running water, cold, hard beds with not good pillows. And I thought, ay, mom, yo no quiero ir a tu rancho. Like, that was not what I wanted to do, especially in this stressful situation, right? And, she's like, this year's going to be different. This year, we're going to go somewhere else. She's like, I want you to call this man, and we're going to set up this trip, and we're going to go to Singapore. I had no freaking idea where in the map Singapore was. I love to travel. Who loves to travel? I love to travel. But I had no idea where that was. And I thought, oh my God, how cool would that be, right? She's like, I want you to book the tickets for you and your brothers, and I want us as a family to go. So I went to my boss. I hadn't taken a vacation in years because of all the layoffs that were happening. So I tell my boss, hey, I need a break. I need to get away. I pleaded that they let me go on this vacation, right? So we ended up going 28 hours later in a flight, okay, across the freaking world. And, in this trip, they say that you need to travel with someone to really get to know them, right? And it was a bunch of these Latinos, total Latinos, right? They're like in this trip, así chiquitos, they were like super nice. And in this trip, what do you do when you go on vacation? You travel, you shop, you sightsee, right? And as we were doing that, I realized that these people, like here, I was like the snobby, I work in corporate, like, duh, I have money, right? And I remember we would go shopping, right? And I would see something, and what's the first thing come on, girls, when you go shopping, you pull out the tag and you like check out how much the price is, right? Tell me you guys don't do that. We all do that. And I remember that I was like, I'll be good. I brought money. Like, I'm going to go shopping, right? These people who I was shopping with would be buying $10,000 worth of gifts to bring back home. I was excited to buy these little freaking cheapy keychains, And I was like, what the hell? Like, what do these people do? Like, I have the Mexican mafia here. Like, what's going on, right? So I kept asking questions, and I kept hearing their stories. I kept hearing their conversations, and I would see that they were super humble, easygoing people. And I thought, okay, what is going on? Like, I didn't get it, At the end of the week, we ended up going to Bali, to, in Indonesia. And then from there, the trip ended in Singapore. And in Singapore, the whole group was going to go to this training. And at the end of this training, they had this dinner. So one of the gentlemen tells me, hey, Carmen, I don't know if you guys are planning to, but I would love to have you guys as my guest for this dinner. And I thought, oh, that would be cool. I'm like, but, I came with vacation stuff. Like, I didn't plan on going to a dinner. He's like, I paid $500 for this dinner, so you guys need to go get some fancy clothes and come and join us. And I thought, oh shit, if he spent that much money, I need to make sure I go looking good, right? So I buy this beautiful dress, and we go to this dinner. And then all of a sudden, I see people from all over the world, people from different parts of the world. And then I'll see them with this dorky looking button. And I see them all coming up looking super glamorous in these beautiful dresses, and, the men looking very amazing. And then I see the people that were with us in this trip, and I see them, getting called up to go on stage. And little did I know, they were going to the Marquis Bonus Awards, and they were getting recognized as the top 1% of the company. And I was like in total shock. The whole dinner, my mouth was like wide open. I couldn't eat. Because I was like, wait, I was just talking to this person, and they come down, walking down with $100,000 check or $200,000 or whatever the amounts were, right? And I thought, okay, I need to figure this out. What are you guys doing? And, little did I know that my mom, who had, invited me to this trip, was actually a presidency member, and that she actually was doing this business and was in that position. So, I told her, these are my parents. They're executive team members, 15K, presidency members, and we're really close to getting them to 20K. And, that to me was, I sat down with my mom, and I'm like, okay, I'm really ready. I'm really ready to do this thing that you guys do, this Herbalife business. And I'm super grateful for being open, because it was definitely an experience. But I remember coming home, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. But life happens, right? I kept working, and, I ended up going to that extravaganza. That was in 2009, I think, Carla. And that's where we met. And so I'm like, okay, this girl's pretty sharp, because see, my mom is like a typical Mexican mom, right? Like, she's my mom. Like, I didn't see her as a businesswoman. And so when I met Carla, I was like, okay, she's sharp. And if she's sharp, then that means that this business is for sharp people too. Because, I was really snobby. So I was like, I'm really going to do this. And so I decided to get to work, and along the way, I think, I'm super grateful because you have amazing people around you who mentor you, guide you, tell you a certain thing that can just change the direction of your business, of your life, and to me, it's, Herbalife is amazing, but my life is more important. And I think that these people, while they're all in Herbalife, they have all just impacted my personal life. And I think that that is just the biggest success, if you want to grow as a human being. And because like Carla mentioned earlier, we all have to go through so many different situations to become the people that we do, that how we are able to give advice or just overcome situations is at a different level based on our experiences. So I'm super grateful because mentors like Carla, she's been such an amazing part of who I am today. And I don't think that had I not built that relationship, had my dad not bugged her, I don't think I would have seen the opportunity because I related to her, because I saw myself in her. And I think that if you're here, it's because you see something of yourself in one of us. So, I got mentors and life happened and I got married, and to me, you have to have a very crystal clear why. Like, what is the thing that really drives you? Because if you really are serious about this business, you have to have this internal fire to get you up, to get you going, to get you fired up, to go into action. But if it's not something that pulls you forward, if it's not something that's strong enough that makes you freaking wake up, get out of bed and go into work, then nothing's going to move you. No matter what I say, nothing, no matter what Carla says, like, you're not going to have drive. You're not going to have fire. And to me, my family, seeing how we're growing and we're expanding as a family, I wanted my nephews and my family to have different experiences that we had growing up. And, one of the things that I'm super grateful for with my mom is that, she has maintained the family unity so, so strong. And to me, it's so important. Like, how can you be powerful and successful, but yet also understand your priorities of life and who you want to be, with the most important people in your life that I think, in my case, are my family. And Jim Rohn, if you guys haven't heard Jim Rohn, if you haven't started listening to personal development, it's a must every single day. I listen to personal development every night. And right now I'm meditating at night, I'm meditating in the morning, because it's what you put into your mind that makes the biggest difference. And he says, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And I think that with Herbalife, we learn so, so much more than I've ever learned in a university or that I ever learned in a corporate job. It's been one of the best educations that I've had, in this experience. So I got to work, and I think another reason why I really wanted to go to work was because I wanted the freedom. I love to travel. I love to experience new things. And I felt like even though at Disney I got paid quote unquote good money, I didn't have the time. I was stuck there. I had 2 weeks of the year, but since then here in Herbalife, I've gone to Peru. This is in Indonesia. We've gone to Paris, France. We've gone to Rome. We've gone to Italy. We've gone to Venice. This is one of the vacations that I promised my brother. I said, hey, if I earn these vacations, I'm going to take you with me. And it wasn't about the vacation to me. It was about showing him what I was capable of and having him feel proud of me. And it was one of the best vacations ever. We had a great time. And look, this year, here we go again. We're going back to the Dominican Republic. So such an amazing, amazing experience. We've gone to Hawaii. I go back to Mexico now about 3 or 4 times a year. And now I go back, but experience Mexico in a whole different way. And then, when I got married, my husband and we decided to go to Thailand for our honeymoon. And I decided to do a photo shoot because I thought it would be cool. And we ended up being there for 3 weeks in Thailand. It was one of the most amazing vacations ever. It's different to see the stuff that you see on National Geographic and then, seeing it in person. And it's been such a journey with him. He's experienced things that he never thought he would experience. I always tell him, I'm like, hey, if you don't behave, I'm going to throw you to the elephants or the lions. So you need to make sure you behave. And he's been an amazing, amazing part of this journey with me. And this last year we had the Riviera Maya, and I'll tell you, like, part of this business and, you know, having your why very clear is you have to be someone who has dreams and goals, you know, and to me, you know, I was someone who loved accomplishing things, setting goals, getting things done. You know, there's a sense of power behind that, a sense of accomplishment. And anyway, so last year, you know, we had the Rivera Maya, and I remember we went to Chichen Itza. If you guys haven't been to the pyramids in Mexico, they're beautiful, right? Had a whole long day, had the tour guide give us the whole explanation. Evening, we come back and we're in this ride back, and my husband is literally crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? Like, what's wrong? And he tells me, you know, Carmen, when I was a little boy, I grabbed this magazine and I saw the pyramids of Mexico. And I thought, I'm going to go there one day. He's like, you know, life happened. I went to school. I got a degree. I started my business. You know, I've been so busy working. He goes, and today you just checked off one of the checklists in my bucket list without even knowing that that was one of my dreams. And I thought, you know, never did I, in the wildest of my dreams, think that I would help check off some of his bucket list. I was thinking I was accomplishing my dreams, you know? And it's one thing when you do something for you, but it's a whole other thing when you see the people you love, you know, have that impact. And the crazy part was in this trip, I had a surprise for him. You know, he had always told me, he had never told me the thing about Chichen Itza, you know, but he had always told me he had wanted to go to Cuba. So I decided to give him a surprise during this trip. So after that, we surprised them and we went to the airport and I'm like, are you ready to go home? He's like, yeah. He goes, let's go home. And the whole time, you know, my brothers knew that I had a surprise for him. They didn't know what it was. And if you guys don't know, I have 3 brothers and they're a pain in the ass. They're super, you know, they joke with him and they treat him bad, but, you know, they just love me so much that they have to protect me. So they tell Alex, oh, Carmen's just going to throw you off the plane. You'll be fine. So when we were on the airport back, you know, Alex is like, okay, so really, are we going home or what are we going to do? Because I know you like these adrenaline things. I know you're pretty crazy. What are we going to do? So we get to the airport and I'm like, look, we're not going home. We're going to Cuba. That was one of his dreams, was to go to Cuba. And so we did that. We had a crazy experience in Cuba. Cuba was a whole other world. You know, you can see poor guy, right? He's like super sad. You could just tell in his face how he's crying. But it was just such an amazing experience. We had a great time. We danced, we had rum, we had cigars. I mean, the whole thing with Cuba, you know. And, you know, this business just gets you to places and things and stages that you just never even dream of. You know, I've done things now that I didn't even realize I could do. And it's so powerful for me because, you know, it's one thing when you do those goals, but now I'm so excited because now it's my team hitting those goals. My team is reaching those things. And that has been way more fun, you know, than me just making my dreams come true. And I think that if you do the work and if you go into action, you'll be able to have a stage to be able to impact a lot of people and truly change their lives. And that's where I am so grateful for this business, you know. But I'll tell you, you know, and I love to say it's like a life without direction, a life without purpose, a life without intent, you know, will rob you of the legacy that you want to leave behind. And life is so short, you know, if you think about it, you know, you go to the cemeteries and it's like, you know, 1980 dash, whatever year that person died, right? And it's that little dash that is your life. And I don't know about you, but I was like, fuck that. Like, I want that dash to be powerful. I want that dash to be full of experiences and memories. But I realized that I also needed to make it happen. I couldn't wait for anyone to make it happen. I couldn't wait for my husband to make it happen, even though he's doing an amazing job. But, you know, it was about my dreams, my goals, and then having us work together to be able to do things as a team. So we got to work, you know, how do I do this business? So if you're starting off doing this business, so just to kind of give you some perspective. So I started my business and I was still working full time because I'm very prideful. I didn't want my parents to pay for any of this. So I remember that, so at Disney, I was making about $5,000 a month. And when I started this business, I said, I'm going to do this super part-time, but with a very laser focused mentality. So I met with one of my mentors and I said, what do I need to do? And they told me a couple of things. So if you're, you know, really, really serious about doing this business, number one, have your why really clear. On the top of your paper, write down, what is it that is that important to you that it's going to pull you forward to wake up every day and go into action? Number two, you have to get into action. You have to set up a plan. You have to do the dirty work. You have to go out and talk to people. You have to post. Like, you have to make it a consistent daily practice. And then you have to, like, it's non-negotiable to go to events. To me, it was like, that made sense to me, because it was kind of like, if I didn't go to class, I wouldn't have graduated college. So to me, it made sense. So going to events, going to trainings, and I'll tell you, and Carla, I'm sure has told you many times, we are so blessed in this company because we have the top of the line training when it comes to being a business owner and entrepreneur. We have a lot of friends who are entrepreneurs, and there's no such thing as a training structure for them to help them be successful like we have at Herbalife. So, leveraging the trainings to not only feed yourself, but also feed your team with knowledge, power, and ideas is like common sense for you to build your business. So, those were kind of the three things. So I was like, okay, let's get to work. So we started going out. I still to this day make contacts. We started off with a fit club, and I do all the business in all the different methods. We do facial parties, we do focus groups. We started doing fit clubs at the stairs, because there was a couple months where we didn't have a location. So we just needed to figure it out and be creative. Like, how could we get people healthy and happy? That is our focus. If we can get people healthy and happy, and how do you get people healthy? You get them on the program. How do you make them happy? You give them results. So if we focus on those two things, no matter how we did it, it worked. From there, we also had a couple nutrition clubs. We're always branded. I'm always branded. Right now, we just opened up a new office. It's called The Box. If you guys can see my shirt, I just came from there. So we're super branded. Like, we are representing who we are, what we do. Herbalife is always in the front. And, I love it. We have the clubs open. From there, expansion has happened. We also started with Carla. We partnered up and did Team Beauty. And to me, this has been so much fun because we've been able to empower and impact women to see themselves in a whole different way than they've ever thought before. We're still doing HOMs, business opportunity meetings. We do these calls like you guys. We just started doing them locally at the box as well. So we do challenges all the time. So right now we have, a belly tuck challenge. So get creative on the challenges. And like I said, the number one thing has been the trainings, like really, really, really being intentional about the trainings. And I'll tell you, like, if there's different types of people in this business. There's people in this business who, like Carla said earlier, they just want to make it fun. They like the environment. It's a fun hobby. Great. Mark Hughes, if you have seen his videos, he's like, you want to make $500? Great. There's nothing wrong with that. Then you have people in the business who are like, okay, I'll stick my foot in a little bit deeper into the water, and they want to make an extra $1,000, $2,000. Great. That just requires a little bit extra work, a little bit extra more clients, a little bit more distributors, a little bit more effort, right? But then you have the people who are like, screw that. I want to go full throttle. I'm really ready to build a business. So for me, I was like that. I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this full on. So my first year, part-time, because I was still working at Disney, I got to Get Team. My goal was to get to Get Team because when I saw the marketing plan, I saw the Get Team members made anywhere between $2,000 to $8,000. And to me, I thought, okay, if I can get to that goal, I can quit my job. So as soon as I get to Get Team, I fired my boss and I started doing this full time. A year and a half later, I got to Millionaire Team. So I got there really, really quick. So I've been in Millionaire Team now for a while, so definitely need to move on from here, But I think that it's been part of my journey, part of my experience. And for those of us, if you're one of those people who say, I really want to make something happen with this, I'm not here to play, it's not just a hobby, I really want to be serious, then you have to qualify for everything. You have right now, especially they just launched the Hawaii vacation. That needs to be your focus. What do I need to do to get my family at that vacation? So to me, it's I needed to qualify because if I qualified, it would open up the vision for my team for them to qualify. So if somebody asks me, what's the secret to this business is never disconnect from events and qualify for everything. If you do those two things hand in hand, eventually things will happen. Now, is it going to happen from one day to the next, 1 month to the next? No. Is it your own personal journey? Yes. And never compare yourself, because you have to remember, I saw a quote, one of my team posted this quote, and I thought, oh, it's so true. She said, don't compare your chapter 2 with someone else's chapter 20. And I'll tell you, it's, you can't expect to have the same results that maybe Carla has with her years of experience, but can you get there? Of course. Can you beat her? Yeah. All it takes is just a little bit more focus, a little bit more work, and a little bit more of you being intentional. So from there, we've made it fun to be at the events. And I'll tell you that along the way, you're going to have a lot of bumps in the roads, because it's life, it's normal. Everything that is worth it takes work and effort, and it's not easy sometimes. And there's going to be bumps and life curveballs that are going to get thrown at you all the freaking time, all the time. But I'll tell you that, to me, I've realized that there's, now I understand when Mark Hughes used to say it's God, family, and then Herbalife, in that order. Because if you understand that there's something bigger out there that is protecting you and guiding you, and, respecting everyone's beliefs, he really wants you to win. He wants you to be successful. He has your back. So whenever I get things that I can't deal with, I'm like, okay, dude, you take it on, you figure it out, because I can't handle this one. And he does. There hasn't been a time that he doesn't. So, to me, that's been important every single day. So, right now, many of you are, at that point in your business where you really want to take it on, you're really serious. And I'll tell you that it has to come from a decision inside of you. Once you have that decision inside of you, once you really are ready, then it's time to go and really put the blindfold on. And I'll tell you that one of the biggest things is, who do you surround yourself with? Make a list tonight. This is your homework, is make a list of all the things that don't serve you. What are those things in your life? What are those people in your life? What are those situations in your life that don't help you move forward? Make a list and let them go. Let those things go. Because at the end of the day, like I said, your life is just that little dash. And do you want to keep living your life thinking, oh, because of this never happened, because of so-and-so, this never happened? Stop pointing the finger, because at the end of the day, it's only going to be you. You're going to be able to look in the mirror and say, this is really what I wanted, and this is really what I created for my life. I tell everybody, everyone is my team, I'm like, well, I love you, and while I know that everybody is doing their best, no one, listen up, no one is going to make your dreams, your goals, and your life the way you want but yourself. No one. Not even your mom, not even your dad, because they can't live your life. They can't walk in your shoes. So when you truly, truly take 100% responsibility with you and the guy above, and just say, hey, just help me along the way, let's figure this out and go into action, shit will happen. It's when you keep blaming others and blaming other situations that things get stuck. Right now, this is the best time in Herbalife, because a lot of reasons, right? Everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to look good for the summer. Everybody wants to have results. We have the change in the marketing plan, which is phenomenal. It's springtime. People have money. Checks are in, right? Like, there's all these great reasons why Herbalife is at its best of the time. Now, it just depends on how you're putting your plan into action, that you'll be either riding the wave or watching it. And I'll tell you that to me, I'm super excited, because I think that for the first time this year, it's going to be a wave of new energy, of new people, of people who've decided to make shit happen. And, it's going to be a beautiful time in Extravaganza in Houston. And I'm going to be really excited, because I think, I've seen many of you go through this journey, and I keep seeing you take this walk. And together as a team, when you walk together as a unit, I had Shai, if you guys know Shai, he's the presidency member. He sent me a message that was really, really sweet. He said, it's one thing for you to get your cuts for yourself. He goes, but it's a whole other thing when you can do it together as a team, because you're doing it together as a unit. And when you do it together as a unit, it's about locking arms and holding for each other. And it was such, like, that was the best thing he could have ever said, because he's right. You know, this cut was not about me, it's about everyone else. Like, I was so worried. Everybody was asking me, you know, I was so worried about a couple of my team members making their active world team cuts, getting their get team cuts. I was so worried in Delfina making her meal team cut. Like, I was so laser focused on that I had no idea that not only did I blow through 7,500, but I made over 8,500 royalty points. And I'm like, shit, I can't believe that this happened. And I'll tell you now, I understand why, because it wasn't about me. You know, it was about everyone else. So I'm really excited, because I know that Whittier is going to represent at Extravaganza. I know you're going to have brand new DAP members, you're going to have brand new supervisors, you're going to have brand new world teams, brand new active world teams, brand new get team members, you know, and how cool will it be that together as one unit, you guys are holding for each other. So, you know, I'm super excited, I'm super blessed. And I think that as we continue in this journey together, it's about how can we make each other better and stronger, not just in Herbalife, but just in life, you know? So get rid of all those things that don't serve you. Make another list of all the dreams, all the goals that you want to accomplish for this year. In 2008, we have, I don't know if you guys realized, but this year is a quarter of it is gone. What do you guys want to do? You know, I'll tell you, my husband and I, so I'm gonna give you a tour, okay? So we're in my office, this is my home office. And I don't know if you guys can see, but we have a big board there. This whole list that you guys see right there is a list of all our goals for 2018. And I'll share with you guys what are those goals, okay? So we want to go to a spiritual retreat as a couple. President's team for me, he wants to build his business to make over $220,000 a year. We want to reduce all of our debt. I want to have 12 active first lines. We want to do a personal development seminar. He wants to go through a leadership course and do his MBA. We want to grow together stronger through love and communication with ourselves and our families. We're going to travel. So this year, I told you I love to travel. So this year, we're going to New York for our birthdays. We're going to the Dominican Republic for Herbalife. We're going to Spain and Portugal with some presidency members. And then we're going to Mexico. We're going to Tulum, and we're going to Mazatlan in December. So we have a very full itinerary of fun and travel. We want to redo our kitchen because we just bought a beautiful home here in Riverside. So we want to rebuild our kitchen, and we want to buy new cars. So, you know, I'm excited. That list every day as I come in, it pulls me to get my ass to work, because it's going to have, oh, and I forgot to tell you. So one of the other things there too is we want to be healthier. And I've already said this, and I'll put it out there, is my goal is to have a beautiful little girl. So I'll be pregnant by the end of this year, because, you know, little baby over there needs a little cousin to play with, and it has to be a little girl. So, you know, I think that you have to have in life, you know, things that really excite you and that make you excited and proud of what you do, but just in life, you know, Herbalife is just a vehicle, and it's just a tool to give you the financial substance that you need to make all those dreams come true. Because all those dreams take a lot of money, you know, and this month, let me tell you, I was really excited to see my check. This is not typical, but I'm not typical. You know, this I just saw my check for the 15th, Carla, $9,200, and it's just my royalties. I haven't even got my bonus yet, so I'm super excited. So a lot of things can happen. You know, this business is amazing. It just takes work, dedication, and having your priorities aligned. So, do you guys have any questions?
That's awesome. And so I'm excited. I was like waiting. I'm like, where's the pregnancy on that list? So
yeah, I can't wait anymore. Damn it.
Yeah, girl. Yes. We need to get pregnant. All right. And so I'm gonna go ahead. I will turn it over. Does anybody have any questions? Unmute yourselves. Okay. No. Okay. Los dejaste con la boca abierta. Well, I will say one thing, and that is, you guys. So as you're looking at Carmen's journey, and as you're watching, I invite you, if you didn't already do this, every time I would look at somebody's journey and their story, I would allow that to expand my mindset, because it wasn't until I was in Herbalife that I realized, and I know maybe Carmen feels the same way. It's like, wait, that's possible? Wait, that's possible? Wait, that's possible? Like it wasn't until I was in this business, and when people share their stories, and we're all going to go to LDW this month, people are going to go up on stage, they're going to share their story. I invite you to not sit there and watch like, wow, that's so good for her, but to look at it like, wow, what if that can be me? And wow, what if that is me? And maybe your thing is not traveling, maybe your thing is, I don't know, giving back to a community. Maybe you want to open a nonprofit or whatever it is. Look at her story from a perspective of first of all, like I love what she said, right? To have a real clear why, which is number one. Number two, have a plan set and get to action. And then number three, go to the events. And the reason why the events are so important is because not only do you learn, but it is those events that you will get your mindset to expand. Only personally, and I mean, I went to college just like Carmen. I worked for corporate America. Well, I only did 3 months, but never, ever, ever have I grown as much as I did here in Herbalife. So I can honestly say, send your kids to college, but you guys, this is your university, and there's no better way to really expand your mindset. And one of the things I'm going to tell you guys, as you're doing this, I really am going to invite all of you guys to take on that homework assignment that she gave you, and that is make a list of all those things that don't serve you. I really invite you guys today, as soon as we get off this call, before you go to bed, make a list of everything that doesn't serve you, everything that gets in the way, and then don't do it on the same piece of paper, or another piece of paper, and make a list of all the goals and the dreams that you have. And, we can definitely do a ritual on that. Grab the list of the things that don't serve you. Whenever you feel it's appropriate, you're ready to let them go. You burn that stupid piece of paper and you let it go. And that list of goals and your dreams, I will tell you, all of you guys have heard of Olga. She also, Carmen also works with her. And I know she has us do these rituals all the time. And when we make these lists, I personally fold the paper, and I have some in my wallet. I have some in my underwear drawer, those things that I don't want anybody to know, those are hidden. But, those lists, like you're sending that signal out to the universe. And with all the momentum that we have going on right now, you guys, if there was ever a time that I love what she said, that we do it together as a team and that we lock arms and hold each other, it is now. All of you guys that did one first cut to DAP program, think about this, okay? You do your cut this month and you do it before LDW. Guess what you just did? You just qualified to the Leadership Development Weekend. Because by the way, Herbalife normally doesn't do this. You have to be a supervisor to go to those events. But this time they're opening it up to all supervisors and any distributor that has 1,000 volume points. So imagine if you go to LDW, you're going to be surrounded with what Carmen mentioned, those people that have lived this extraordinary life, and they're going to show you how, and they're going to teach you how to do those things. And so I really invite you guys, if we lock arms, I'm not going to say if, we are going to lock arms and we're going to hold each other. We're going to make sure that everybody who's got their first cut to DAP qualifies to the second cut. If you need anything, know we're here for you. And those of you guys who are really close to supervisor, you know who you are. Let's get it done. Because here's the thing you want to know. I heard somebody say, I'm going to wait till the end of the month. Don't do that. Let me tell you why. You qualify to supervisor. Let's say, what's the day today? The 10th. I should know that's my husband's birthday, right? So let's say you qualify to supervisor by tonight. Guess what? You have 20 days of 50% profit, 20 days of a bigger commission. So if there was ever a time to really get to work, it is now. And for those of you guys who, I was so beautiful. I love what Carmen said, right? Yes, she hit her goal of hitting her 7,500 royalties, but her focus was not there. Her focus was helping her team. And as Jim Rohn says, if you help enough people get what they want, you will have everything underlined that you want. And so what's so beautiful about this is that while we as your sponsors are going to be supporting all of you guys, I know a lot of you guys, do more for others than you will do for yourself. And I know a lot of you guys, you know, it's not a secret. Last year, right at this time, Carmen came because Sergio was making his first cut to Get Team. That's why she came. And she was what like helped fuel that first cut. And then, you know, we kept saying we have to have representation of Whittier up at Extravaganza. And this year it's going to be Sergio, right? And so I really invite all of you guys, you know, we said it at the last meeting that we were there. You know, the person that's close right now to Get Team, it's Naida. So imagine all of us together as a unit. We pull and we push that cut to happen. What's going to happen is when they say, please help us welcome, global expansion team members, and the confetti goes through the roof at Extravaganza, we're not going to sit there like, oh, I wish we had somebody crossing that stage, right? We're going to have Naida and a bunch of Carmen's team crossing that stage, representing California, those Latina teen beauties. We're the ones that started it here in California, by the way, right? So imagine that happening. And then when they say Mill Team, we're all going to cheer because Delfina's going to cross that stage, right? They say 7,500, we're going to be cheering because there goes Carmen, you know, and why not even Press Team? So why this is so beautiful is because as you're hitting your own personal goals, you're helping other people hit their goals. And what's beautiful about that is that now Carmen can now teach Delfina how to hit 7,500. Delfina can teach others how to hit Mill Team. Until then, it cannot happen, right? So if there was ever a time I'm going to take that from Shai, right, is to work together as a team, as a unit, to do it. I literally wrote word for word what she said, to do it together as a team by locking arms and holding for each other. That's going to be the quote of the night. So I just say, you know, for all of you guys, we've got so much great momentum. Victoria hitting active supervisor this month, world team, you know, who else? You know, Alyssa hitting her active supervisor, Mona hitting active supervisor, new supervisors like Noreen. I mean, just all of you guys that are doing so great, you guys, don't stop. You know, it is the 10th. I want you to think about, I love it. Julie messaged me. How's your volume? Like, shit, you know, which is not too bad, right? It's like 2,000, what did I say? 2,100 something, right? But we have a little commitment between Naida, Julie, and myself to hit 10,000 this month, right? So Julie messaged me, how's your volume, girls, right? And she's like at 3,000. And so, you know, why I say this is because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take each of us to check in on each other and say, how are you doing with your qualification? How are you doing with your goals? How can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? Because when you help another, guess what? You're really, really, really teaching and growing for your own business. So I'm just super excited. Thank you so much, Carmen, you know, for all of your support and all your help. You know that the Whittier team is here. If you guys need anything over there in Riverside, I know you've got a lot of momentum going on too. Can you share with us the cuts that are happening in your area just so that we can get inspired? Because her present is our future, guys. Can you tell us what's going on over there?
Yeah, so right now, I mean, we have a bunch of DAP cuts, right? A bunch of supervisor cuts. Last month, I mean, those last couple of months, we've been closing 7 to 8 new supervisors in the team. We had, you know, a bunch of active supervisor cuts, but we had one first cut of active world team, one cut of Get Team, one cut of Mill Team. This month, our goal is to have 3 cuts of active world team, the second cut of Get Team, the second cut of active world team. And I'm going to put this out there, my goal is to make not only my second cut to 75, but my first cut to press. So give me the good vibes, give me the good juju, because I'm just ready.
You can do it, girl. You can do it. We're going to map it out on Friday with her. And yeah, I mean, you can do it, girl. It's un pedo away. That's what I say. It's a fart away.
I'm excited. But, you know, and that's why I say, like, I mean, think about it. You guys are growing really, really fast. I mean, honestly, in 1 year to go from one Get Team to another Get Team member, like, that is really, really amazing. So don't compare my chapter 8. Keep in mind, like, I've been working with this group for 5 years, right? So it's like, that's what's going to happen. All it takes is consistency. And Nadia, laser focus. Don't freaking get distracted. Right now is not the time. You know, get yourself in action, get yourself going, laser focus. It's about your dreams, your why. Stop the bullshit. You haven't gone as fast as you can go.
Yeah.
to really get yourself into action.
Can I say something? I really want to say to you, thank you. And I kind of started telling you that at the last STS, but then one of my girls was up at stage. I'm like, oh my God, I have to go pit her. So I kind of ran to her. But I really want to thank you because last year when you came down, because my dream is to also to travel. And when I saw that you went to all these places in a year, and I didn't know like that was even possible with Herbalife. At the time, I was so new in the game. And immediately that day later, that very night, I came home and I did a post on Facebook and my whole business changed. Like everything changed. And it's just been one thing after another after that. And it really, like you said, I got myself really laser focused as like, Carly can do it, you can do it. And there's so many other people that I have met in the business that if they can do it, why can't we? Like we could do this. We have what it takes. And I just really want to thank you because you really, really inspired me. And I've told my team and I've tell Carla all the time, like when you came, like it totally made me see everything in a different light, in a different view. And that's what fired me up. And I love what you say about don't compare your chapter 1 to your chapter 8. And I realize that happens a lot in the office because a lot of people tell me like, it's like you have it so easy or like you make it seem so easy. The other day I sold a meal plan and they're like, you make it seem so easy, like you just got it done. And it's like sometimes people don't know, like that client that finally got on a meal plan has been coming to the gym for 8 months and didn't even want to get a trial pack. And then a month or 3 months later, finally got on a trial pack. And then 8 months later, finally got on a meal plan. So it's not easy. It might seem like that now because like I was telling Emmanuel today, it's the work that you put in. You're going to get back the work that you put in. Like if you don't really work, then you're not going to really get back anything. And there's been times that like everybody knows I work on my breaks. I'm always at the gym. I'm really tired all the time. I don't really, well, anyways, I just put in a lot of work and it's really, I feel like it's paid. It's coming. It's finally like, I see progress and it's not easy and it's tough.
But let me tell you, you have to stop saying that because, my mom every time would tell me like, es trabajo duro por tiempo limitado, right? Yeah. I don't speak Spanish. It's hard work for a limited time. To me, it's harder being a 50 or a 60-year-old that has to go in every single day to work because if they don't go to work, they're not going to have a paycheck or they're not going to have food on their table. That is fucking hard.
Yeah.
Herbalife isn't hard. We just psych ourselves out to say it's hard. It's just hard work for a limited time. Remember, people are going to work their whole life and end up with shit security. And I'll tell you, my dad, he's so funny, right? All his friends are in retirement age. And so they're all excited, right? Because they're going to Social Security and they're getting, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000. So our accountant tells my dad, don't even go get your Social Security because if you guys make so much money that if you guys add that income, it's going to be more taxes on you. So the accountant's like, just, write a check to your husband, Carmen, tells my mom. And so I told my dad, I'm like, look at the difference of your friends. Look at how they are physically. Look at, many of them can't retire. They have to still work. They're 60 years old with a bad back. They're unhealthy. They're not capable of living a healthy life. My dad is in a fucking horse all day riding 20 horses. He has this Andaluz horse, He's super healthy, thank God. And, he has, today I called him, I'm like, Dad, ¿cuántos días quieres ir a Punta Cana? He's like, yo no sé, los que quieran. And I'm like, it's so funny because to think the life that they have now, right?
Yeah.
Is it hard work compared to who? Remember, there's always, hay una cola para estar peor o hay una cola para estar mejor en la vida. So even when and that's a whole other thing, a topic about ego, like you're doing good compared to who? And you're doing bad compared to who?
Yeah.
So, it's not hard.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with you with that because just like you said, just comparing, like compared to my job. I've been there for 12 years, and like I'm stuck in a dead end, and I'm not gonna get higher. And I've only been with Herbalife for a year and a half, and I've done so much with it. And I know that there's no tapping out. Like, it's just as much as and as far as you want to go. You could keep going. You could keep going. And if you're settled and you're cool where you're at, then you could stay there too. But that's what I love about this business. Like, you could just keep growing and get bigger and do more things. So, but thank you so much for everything. Really, you've been very helpful to me. Thank you. And inspiration.
No, I love you, and I'm very excited because I think, you know, it's not me. It's you only see in me what you see in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
All right, you guys. So thank you so much, Carmen. I can't wait to see you guys. So Carmen's going to be on stage at LDW. And so you're opening the event, right?
Yes, I will be.
So look at this, okay? Just to say, she's opening the event. I'm closing the event. So
it's a sign, dude. It's a sign.
Right? So it's going to be an amazing, amazing LDW. You guys get your tickets. Do not wait until the last minute because you're going to pay way more money. Okay, don't do that to yourselves. And get your ticket. For those of you guys who just became supervisors, or those of you who become supervisors, you can get at the early bird price for $75. Just make sure you call and you insist. Thank you, Rachel, for not accepting their comment. Rachel had a little bit of a hard time with it, but anyhow, get your tickets. LDW is going to be off the hook. And remember, you guys, as a unit, we're going to hold each other, and as a team, we're going to blow through all those goals because we need all of you guys active, new world team, Victoria, and active supervisors coming up, right? Everybody, a lot of you guys made your first cuts. First cut to get team NIDA, and, qualifying to supervisor, a bunch of you guys, and for sure finishing off your DAP program qualifications. So we're going to go to Extravaganza all with new pins, and then also we're putting it out there that Julie is going to complete active world team before Extravaganza. So I mean, we've got so much stuff going on. So I got to say, you guys, do not get distracted, okay? It's not the time right now to take the foot off the gas, okay? So with that said, you guys, stay on the call. Let me